Let's begin the session with the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Lord Krishna is a Jagat Guru. Jagat Guru means he is the teacher of the entire universe. Because he is in the form of Chaitanyam, pure consciousness. As pure consciousness, he is always there. Whenever the Jagat is there, whenever you are experiencing the world, he is there. So right now, is Lord Krishna there? Yes, he is there, but our eyes can't see him. In this chapter, 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogaha, Lord Krishna is teaching us how to see his form without our mind, without our body, and without the world. That is the central theme of this chapter. But before he does that, he wants to start from where we are today. This is how the teaching in the Upanishads take place. Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita, they want to convey a very, very different aspect which we are not aware of, which we will never be aware of through our sense organs. Our sense organs are illumined by this consciousness, this pure awareness. They are the source. It cannot reveal, the effect cannot reveal its source. When we live in our waking state, which is our world, we are always tormented by our body, mind, and the world. Three things affect us. Many a times, it is our mind which is the main tormentor. That is what we are trying to understand in this particular chapter. How does this mind come and torment us throughout our life? The body gives us pain, no doubt, but that it comes and goes. But the mind, it is with us throughout the 24 hours of the day, and it is a source of sorrow for all of us. If I'm sleeping, I am not aware of any problems in life because the mind is absent. It is in a potential condition. During waking, I face the problems. All types of problems come to me. Monetary problems, physical problems, COVID problems, all types of problems come in the waking state. Now I have to face them whether I like it or not. The study of the Bhagavad Gita, especially the 14th chapter, helps us to face our life with the problems with a additional strength given by this knowledge. This is how we should approach this particular chapter. We are all a mixture of two aspects: the body, mind, intellect, which is made up of Prakriti. matter. We are also made up of consciousness, awareness, existence. So the consciousness aspect is covered. We are not aware of it. We are aware of the body. We know the body, we know the mind, but we are not aware of the consciousness which is behind the matter. This we have seen in 13th chapter of the Gita, that matter, which is called as Prakriti, it exists in two modes, manifest and unmanifest. Again and again, you must remember this basic fundamental fact, that the five elements together, they exist in two forms. One is manifest form, another is unmanifest form, with reference to the consciousness. This manifest and unmanifest by itself have no existence. But with reference to the consciousness and existence, we say this is manifest and unmanifest. The consciousness is always existent and always conscious, aware. So we have to do an inquiry and find out how to separate this consciousness, awareness from the mind. If I can learn the method to separate the two cognitively, not physically, you cannot do it physically. You have to do it only as an understanding in the mind. Clear understanding must be there, not with a doubt, not with a confusion, but very clearly you assimilate this knowledge. Then it is possible. So the two main objectives of study of the 14th chapter is, number one, how do I have a better control or gain strength in my mind? That is the first objective, in order to face the world. This is a very clear objective. It's a very practical. You can feel and you can experience this strength coming to you when you digest this chapter clearly. The second aspect is the higher aspect. How do I free myself from this bondage with the mind? We are all bound to the mind because we are not aware of how to get out of this mind and be with our own self, which is Atma. So with these two objectives, we will approach this chapter where we stopped last time. Before we get into the verse where we stopped last week, only one point I want to clarify is this mind, which is a tormentor for us, can be controlled, can be diluted by knowing that content of the mind. The content of the mind is the three gunas: Satwa, Rajas, Tamas. The gunas are expressed in a form of a vritti. Vritti means thought. Tamoguna means I don't know anything. That is the nature of all the inert objects. The inert objects do not know themselves and do not know others also. That means a table doesn't know itself and table doesn't know people around it. Whereas consciousness is something which is knows itself as sentient, and it also in its presence it knows the body, mind, and the world. This is a very important point. You should be very, very clear, distinctly clear. My body is jadam, inert. It does not know itself. It neither knows itself, neither it knows anything around it. By body means the matter alone. It's like a table alone. If you leave it alone, it will never know. But my body is different because it is mixed together with consciousness. So I'm trying to understand the mixture. From the mixture, I'm trying to understand the matter and consciousness. So here we have consciousness which knows itself. It is the knowing principle. In its presence, everything becomes known. That is clear spiritual principle, consciousness. The second is the matter, which is the body, which is inert by nature. It cannot know itself. And it is the three gunas in the matter which keep on changing. It is an attribute of the five elements. They keep on changing. Like, you know, if you have studied science and if you have studied atomic physics, you will understand there are atoms, electrons, protons, which are continuously changing in all matter. Whether it is a stone or a wall or a table or a chair or whatever it is, matter is undergoing change. At the smallest level, at the highest level, the galaxies are changing, the stars are bursting, so many things are happening. But they have absolutely no existence without the consciousness I. Without the consciousness principle, they have absolutely no existence. So the world borrows consciousness and existence from the spiritual essence. Once you have understood this, then it is clear how to identify my mind and what are the three gunas. We have seen so far 5 verses. We are on to the 6th verse. And in the 6th verse, Tatra Satvam Nirmalatvat Prakasha Kamanamyaham Sukha Sangena Badnanti Jnana Sangena Chanagha. From this verse onwards, we are trying to understand the structure of the three gunas. The three gunas belong to Prakriti. It is a changing condition. The first one is called as sathvagona, and in sathvaguna, guna means an attribute, we have seen. In this, what happens is the matter principle becomes luminous, becomes like a mirror. Whenever sattva is predominant, we are talking about the mind. The body by itself is tamo guna pradhana, the gross body. The gross body is always inert. It gets the sentiency only through the mind. The two main characteristics of sattva guna, which is expressed in this verse, is nirmalam and prakasham. Nirmalam means that it is without any impurities. The mind, when it has got no impurities, it is, malam means impurity. So whenever we feel in our own life, when we get up in the morning and we feel all my sense organs are bright, they are able to accept, they are able to see things clearly, understand things clearly, we must know that the sattva guna in us is predominant. and everything is prakasham. Prakasham means very clear, because the light of consciousness, when it is falling on the sattva guna in the mind, it will because consciousness is all knowledge. That knowledge principle is very active when it is when the mind becomes sathvagona. It can change very drastically, very fast, because the mind suddenly becomes rajasic. That we will see what happens in the next verse. The next verse, the sixth verse, will tell us sathvaguna. Seventh verse is rajoguna. Eighth verse is tamoguna. So this is where we stopped last week. So consciousness, when it is reflected, clearly well reflected in the mind, it is sattva guna. When it is agitated, when the mind is agitated, suppose you are angry, the same consciousness is still there. That consciousness is what? I am. That pure consciousness is I am. And that pure consciousness, when it gets identified with the rajasic thoughts in the mind, that is called as a superimposition. It is called as an adhyasa. This is where Bhagavad Gita says, cut off the mind and say I am. Then you are with your real nature. The moment you say, okay, the mind is disturbed, it may be disturbed for some time, but that is the condition of the mind. When the mind is disturbed, the jnanam, which is the original consciousness, is the nature of that is jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge. When that knowledge, pure knowledge, goes through the sense organs, like the eyes, for example, I get the knowledge of the forms and colors. I see lovely roses, I see the red color roses, yellow color roses, blue color roses, I see wonder. It is the knowledge principle flowing through the eyes. Similarly, the same knowledge, when it flows through the ears, it is the beautiful sound of the birds. It's a sound, the music which I hear from my mobile. That is the same knowledge principle flowing through the ears. And the same knowledge principle also flows through the intellect as thoughts. Thoughts are there in the intellect. I may be thinking of so many situations that is nothing to do with what is outside. It is my own personal creation in my mind. So when this angry thoughts or lustful thoughts are there, the same consciousness is illumining these thoughts and makes you rajasic. So consciousness plus the three conditions of the mind is the person. I am alpa, I am bhat. You can say I am so and so. So the name given to us, that name represents the condition of the mind. I am is common to all of us because we are existent and we are conscious. And this existent and consciousness is all pervading and it is never born. It does not die. This is the knowledge I should own up. It's possible. This is the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. I just close my eyes and I say, I am not going to think of anything about myself. I am going to be myself as I am. And see what happens. And you will come across confirming that I am has not changed ever. last 40 years, 50 years, 60 years of your life, I am has not changed. Not only for you, for the entire humankind. Human beings, they're all called as human beings when they're identified with the reflection of that consciousness in the body and mind. So thoughts are born in the mind, and a sattvic mind is mind which is not agitated. When it is not agitated, the knowledge reflected is very clear. When the eyes see the form, it is the same pure consciousness gets reflected or gets attached to the eyes and the forms. That process is called as adhyasa, superimposition. In order for us to really know our nature, you must know what is adhyasa. Shankaracharya, in the 13th chapter, in the third verse, in the second and third verse, he writes a beautiful commentary on adhyasa. What is this superimposition? That is the crux of the entire teaching of the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. You must know very clearly what is this adhyasa. Why does it happen? How does it happen? In order to know I am a spiritual being, I am ever free, this adhyasa must be very clear to us. Adhyasa means superimposition. The three states, in very simple terms, adhyasa means I am pure consciousness. The three states of the mind are taken as my states. That is a mistake. It is an error. I need to correct that error cognitively. I am not the three states of the mind. The body is seen in the waking state, it goes away. The mind becomes passive in the sleep state. I am continuously, I exist. That is my real nature. What comes and goes is an incidental nature. It is an appearance. So I am refers to the pure being, and then the jiva is something which is identified with the gunas. This jiva, when it gets the knowledge of the pure consciousness, then it becomes a guna atita. It all happens in the mind only. The same mind which is without the knowledge identifies with the body and mind and the emotions as itself. Understand this chart very well, because this is the crux of the whole samsara problem. The jiva, I am the pure consciousness. I have two choices. When I don't identify with the body and mind as the self, the sense of my being is not attached to the body or mind. It is possible to have the sense of being in Atma, in pure consciousness, pure existence. That is possible when I have the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita introduces me to Atma and tells me I can abide in Atma throughout my life. When I don't know this fact, I attach myself, I identify myself as I am angry, I am suffering, I am this, so and so. This is a thought in the mind. And the I am born is also a notion. It is a thought in the mind. Only when you don't identify with the body, you will understand this. If you keep on identifying the body, you will not understand it is a thought, because you must note that manifest and unmanifest condition of the mind before you know that you're not the body. So in case this point is not clear, in your chat box, you can put your question. I will explain this to you, because this chart is a very, very important chart which you have. I am with a thought of either the ego, memory, emotions, or the mind. When it goes through the gunas, the sattva aspect of it is the thought which is clear, and the tamoguna part is the refers to the object of the world or the gross body. So the I am can get attached to the mind, which is the sathvagona, or it can get attached to the tamoguna, which is the body, gross body. Suppose I say I like my car, I like my house. Now, house or a car or any other identified being, I love my daughter, I love my son, you're identified with the body. So when you say that, what happens is you are basically, I am is the pure consciousness that is getting attached to the gunas. With the tamoguna, it gets attached to the gross objects and beings. With the rajoguna, it gets attached to the actions performed. With the sathvaguna, it gets attached to the knowledge portion. In order to understand I am the pure chaitanyam, pure consciousness, you need a sattvic mind. Because through these vrittis, through the thoughts, in the sattvic condition, I am able to see the reflection of my own nature, which is Satchid Ananda Swarupa. So throughout the Bhagavad Gita, from now on, the Lord Krishna will teach us how to keep on making my mind sattvic and drop its nature, the tamoguna and the rajoguna. That is the focus from now on you will learn. And how to do that, there are certain steps we will learn one by one, so that it's easy for us to appreciate how the gunas, they bond us. Mind is focused on a single pointed means it is able to reflect the consciousness well. What it means is, suppose I'm a doctor, I'm able to perform an operation well. Suppose I'm a computer's programmer, I'm able to think clearly about my programming skills and work on my problem and come out with a solution. Then that is called as a sattvic mind. Suppose I'm in the kitchen working with, doing a cooking job. If I'm very clear, I have to finish this task. With a clear mind, you finish your cooking within 1 hour. With a rajoguna mind, with agitated mind, the same cooking will take maybe 2 hours. Because the mind is always thinking of so many other things. Each one of us must find a method, or after learning this chapter, you must say that today my mind was in sattvic condition at so and so time. It was in rajas condition in so and so time, and it became tamoguna in this time. It is an analysis for ourselves, so that we are conscious that it is my mind which is in turmoil and not me. I need to create a distance between me, the consciousness, and the mind which is turbulent. So a sattvic mind is a peaceful mind. It is a happy mind. Why is it called happy? Because in that condition, there are no rajasic disturbing thoughts. And my nature is actually bliss. That is, happiness is my nature. So that nature of mine is getting reflected in a mirror of the mind. In all happiness, this is what really happens. Suppose I want to buy a car for 2 months, 3 months, or get my son married. I've been thinking for 2 years, and suddenly the son got married. What happens? The agitations in the mind come down. And then you are able to feel your presence better. So whenever sattva comes, knowledge arises, vritti becomes pure, placid, and serene. This is the condition of a sattvic vritti. It's pure means it is not mixed with disturbance. As the pure consciousness, I am always eternal. I am not in the time and space. So you will find that when you are having a sattvic mind, you will find I am very peaceful. You go to a botanical garden and sit down there, watch the trees. At that time, what happens is your mind is in a sattvic condition. Or you go to the beach, you walk in the East Coast Park for an hour. What happens to you? You are got rid of all the other problems and you are just focused on yourself. It is a sattvic mind. Similarly, when you chant a japa, Vishnu Sahasranamam, your mind is focused on the chanting for 20 minutes. You're not thinking of anything else in the world except that chanting. This is the way the mind becomes sattvic. Amaya, anamayam, anamayam means spotless. And that anamayam, manaha, is the nature of sattva. Amaya means dukkham, sorrow. Anamaya means no dukkham, no sorrow. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us that no matter what the conditions outside can be, suppose somebody is scolding you, suppose somebody is unhappy with you, but still if you are attached to the Atma, you will be able to remain in balance, not get affected by whatever people are telling about you. That is the beauty of studying this chapter. It tells me that conditions in the mind cannot disturb my real condition, which is that pure consciousness. The world may be peaceful, world may be turbulent, but mind I can control, my own mind. I cannot control anybody else's mind. I will train this mind not to get disturbed by the incoming thoughts of the people telling something about me. So this is where the strength of the mind gets built up. This whole chapter is building our inner strength to face the world. It's possible, and this chapter, you will really love this chapter. Can go through this chapter again and again, because this is a very practical chapter. Throughout the day, you can think about the condition of your mind. You can know your own condition, because ultimately you are a witness to the mind. Consciousness, awareness is a witness of all the thoughts which go in your mind. That is the revelation of the Bhagavad Gita. I didn't know this before, but with this spiritual knowledge of the Atma, I learn to build strength in my mind. The two branches of sathvagona are jnanam and sukham. So keep in mind two things. Whenever you say sattva, you must think about jnanam and sukham. Sukham, I told you, is the peace of mind, because the vrittis are not moving very fast. The frequency of thoughts has come down. The quality of thoughts is much better. But still, this type of a mind can bind a person. This is at an extreme end of sattva guna. You and I, we don't have to worry about it because our sattva guna is very, very less. But what the Bhagavad Gita is cautioning us is, don't be attached even to the sattva guna of the mind, because that will keep you in bondage. And what you want to be? You want to be free of this bondage with the mind. The rajoguna is a different type of bondage. Sattva guna is a golden bondage. It is you are in a golden, tied with a golden rope. Rajoguna is a iron rope, and tamoguna is the worst type of rope. So the three ropes are still ropes. They can bind me. Sukha sangena badnanti. That means I keep on looking for happiness, happiness, happiness all the time, forgetting that happiness is my own nature. I keep on looking outside for happiness. That is called as the Sukha Sangya Badnanti. Badnanti means bondage. Sukha Sanghena. Sukha Sanghena means attached to the happiness, I get bound. Suppose I have tasted some very nice dish. Again and again, I want to go and taste that dish. Because in that eating of that particular dish, my happiness came about. I felt I give that happiness to the dish, but actually speaking, it is all happening in my mind. The thoughts in my mind when the dish I have eaten to my liking, the thoughts in the mind become sattvic. And the consciousness reflected in that sattvic mind is the real happiness. This is how the study of the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita helps us to understand my real nature. Ajnanam of Satchidananda is a general cause for bondage. That means I don't know my real nature as Atma. Aham Sukhi, Aham Dukhi. That means I am sorrowful. That is a condition of the mind. That is a participatory cause. So there are two causes for unhappiness or sorrow in life. One cause is I don't know my real true nature. And the second is I get attached to the world of the sense organs, and that causes bondage. I am the only illuminator of thoughts, because any thought, any emotion which rises in my mind, it can be an emotion of jealousy, it can be an emotion of attachment, it can be emotion of aversion to things. All these emotions are actually being illumined by some principle in this body. It is not my leg or hand which is illumining the emotions. It is the consciousness. And that is what I am trying to separate out with my mind. So when I learn to live a life of non-attachment, that means I keep the body mind away from my pure consciousness. That is what a sannyasi is able to do when he takes up sannyasa. He he, during the study brahmacharya time, he studies the Vedas, studies the Gita, studies the Upanishad, knows the nature of Atma, meditated on Atma, can separate the body, mind, world from Atma cognitively, then they know that all the thoughts are only illumined by my own consciousness. I am that consciousness. Then becomes easy. Throughout the day, suppose you tell yourself that I am of the nature of pure happiness. I am not dependent on the world. The world comes and goes, and that is incidental nature. Then that is what is called as you are free from the bondage of Satwa and all the gunas. So that was a full description of sathvaguna. 2 points we should remember: jnanam and prakasham. Jnanam means knowledge, and sukham, happiness. So jnanam could be termed as illumination. It's like a light. In the presence of light, everything is happening. So I am that pure consciousness. In my presence, this body, this mind becomes active, and then I experience the world outside. When I don't experience this in my sleep state, I am there as pure consciousness and existence, but there is no more gunas which are active. All the three gunas are in samya condition. That means they are in the sleep state. What happens is my mind is overwhelmed by tamoguna because the mind has gone to sleep. In that condition of the mind, I am there as what? Pure existence, pure consciousness. So that is the description of sathvaguna. Now we will enter into rajoguna. Rajoguna means you are bound to action. Rajas means activity. My legs are always in motion. My hands always want to do things. I want to touch things. I want to play with some things. I want to hold, grasp things. My legs want to move here and there. That is all rajoguna. That rajoguna means what? The thoughts in the mind are at a higher frequency compared to the sattva. In the sattva guna, the frequency has come down. In the rajoguna, suppose it is say 30 thoughts per minute. Suddenly, if the 30 becomes 300 thoughts per minute, that means it is in rajoguna. This is how one can see the mind, know the mind, and be in control of the mind. Because here the Lord is teaching us how to see our own mind. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tanni baddhanti kaunteya karma sangena dehina. In the previous verse, we are stuck with happiness and we are bound to knowledge. That is extreme sattva guna bondage. Here what the Lord teaches is ragatmakam vidhi. I will explain to you that nature of raga, but what rajas means is it means passion, thirst for more and more money, more and more wealth, more and more things in life. I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. Never stop saying, no, I am contented. I am fulfilled. Never. Even for 1 minute, you can never say, no, I am very happy. I'm relaxed. I'm contented in life. I have achieved what I wanted. The Lord has given me quite a lot. There's a feeling of gratitude, a thanksgiving. No. Your mind is always engaged, externally bound. Extroverts. It is a source of thirst and attachment to the world. and binds us. Binds us means what? The jiva who can be free from this attachment, he gets bound. I am the jiva, I am the indweller in this body. I want to understand what is my real nature, which is without this body, without the mind, without the world. Whenever the waking state comes, this reflection of mind as the pure consciousness, it falls on this body, it wakes the mind up, and the mind gets involved with the world, it gets attached to the world. That mind which has got attached to the world, I need to bring it back, and then I have to learn how to take this jiva into the source, which is Atma. Rajas means vikshepa, pravritti shakti. There are two shaktis we have, pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti means keep on growing. Nivritti means withdrawing. Two powers which we have. I want to go after certain things in life, and I want to withdraw from certain things in life. Nivritti means I want to withdraw. Pravritti means I want to grow. Today I have 100 lakhs or $1 million. I want to make it to 100 million. I have one house, I want to have 3 houses. I have one car, I want to make it 2 cars. I have one child, I want to have 3 children. So this is growth, pravritti. And that is nothing but it is a condition of the mind. Rajas, vikshepa shakti, projection. If I have this, I'll be happy. If I have this, I'll be happy. That is constantly going on throughout the day. Non-stop. Morning you get up and you feel, oh, I should do this, I'll be happy. I do this, I'll be happy. Vikshepa Shakti is full of rajas. Energy, the energy of that mind comes from rajo guna. It is coming from the prakriti, from the nature. So the nature itself is got the 3 gunas, Satwa, Rajas and Tamas. Raga means attachment. It has got 2 causes. Desire, extreme desire is called as raga. And kama is a thirst to fulfill specific desires. Kamatmakam apraptasya abhilasha. In Sanskrit, what it means is, what I don't have, I want to have. That is what is called as a desire. Today, I don't have a house. I want to build a house. Beautiful house. That is called as raga. Even when I want to leave this thought, I don't want to desire, that is also an action. I want to sleep is also an action. So asanga means I don't want this. That is also an action. I have aversion, I have desires. I have attachment, I have detachment. Both are rajasic. Because of raga or dvesha, dvesha means aversion, you become a karta and a bhokta. These are the 2 qualities of the intellect. It has got nothing to do with the consciousness which is illumining the mind. The mind takes the role of an ego and says, I am the doer of this action. I am the enjoyer of this action. I will cook and I will enjoy. I will work hard. I will earn money. I will be able to spend the money and gain happiness. So a karta becomes a bhokta. What the Bhagavad Gita says is both this karta and bhokta are only reflections of the thoughts in the mind. Very, very big lesson. I mean, these are all tremendous lessons which we learn from the Bhagavad Gita. And this is all possible to understand only when my thoughts have come down. I have to practice some japa or some other methods to control my mind initially. But after some time, once you have been able to control the mind, then what happens is your thirst for Bhagavad Gita knowledge will grow. Oh, I must understand this Atma well. So now you get attached to the knowledge portion. You're dropping your actions. You are very extrovert. Instead of going out on every Saturday evening for shopping or doing something, now you are spending time behind learning. That means from rajoguna, you are getting into sathvagona. Bondage to action is a job of rajoguna. More and more action. If I have been working for 4 hours and I'm getting $2,000, now I want to work for 8 hours and get $6,000, $8,000. If I work for 12 hours, I'll get more money. All rajas guna. I can't totally drop it because I have to run my family. But here what they are saying is, be watchful of your mind. Be watchful of your desires. Let them be sattvic in nature. Have desires, no doubt, but keep it to a certain level, and then you can know your real nature. We are all coming to Bhagavad Gita to understand that there is a spirit in me. There is Lord in me. There is consciousness in me. I want to learn that. I want to be one with that Lord in this body. I want to be one with that consciousness in this body. It is the same consciousness in this body which is there in the entire universe. I want to abide in that consciousness. Once you have this desire, then what happens is that rajas activity, the extrovertedness, reduces. So whenever there is action, there is a doer of action and there is an enjoyer of action. But the ignorance of self is in the background. And that is the bondage. I don't know. I am the pure consciousness. I can exist without the body itself. Forget about the mind. Mind comes, body comes, they are all together. They are all package deal. Body, mind, time, all this come together, and world. All four, they all come together as a package in my waking state. In my dream state, this package goes off. In my sleep state, completely gone. But I am there. I am there throughout as the substratum. Without me, this whole thing, this whole drama cannot happen. Gita teaches us to see the entire waking state as an appearance. It appears in this consciousness. It disappears in this consciousness. I am that pure consciousness. And that consciousness is called as the God. It makes me realize in my own heart that God principle. I don't need to go to a temple to see the God and to know God and to pray to the God. I can sit in my own house, look inward into myself and pray to the Lord inside my heart. And be one with that Lord, be one with that consciousness. Then I am called guna atita. I have dropped the gunas of the mind. I have learned through the process of the Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter to live with the same God with whom I was before the birth of the body, with whom I will be when the body leaves. I am not bothered about the body's condition of anything. Let it come, let it go, doesn't matter. I have become one with God. I've become one with that consciousness principle. Because this guna atita, that we are going to see later, but I'm just giving you some introduction so that you know that I can be without this attachment to the three gunas. And why does this attachment comes? It is because of the causal body, karana shariram. The karana shariram has got certain impressions, the likes and dislikes in me. It's all in the mind. That mind is what? The mind in dormant condition is the karana shariram. I am the pure consciousness. Once you know, then you can see, oh, it is the mind which is in dormant condition, not me. Mind will come again into waking state and experience certain things, and it will go back to the karana shariram. Sometimes sattva comes, sometimes rajoguna comes. The body behaves in a certain way. When the rajas comes, the body suddenly wakes up and starts doing so many things. Starts cooking, starts going out, goes shopping. The body does so many actions morning to evening. It talks to so many people around the world, mobile, sends messages, operates the email. All this is all actions at the body level, mind level. Who am I? I am the Sakshi. I am the witness to the activities of Prakriti, which is the three bodies. So having understood the three gunas, I will be able to separate the body, mind from consciousness. So in this chapter, we see how the three types of thoughts for action, thoughts for knowledge are called as sattvic. Thoughts for action are called as rajoguna. And then thoughts of inertia. I don't want knowledge. I don't want action. In this body, there are two types of instruments. Jnana indriyas going after knowledge. Karma indriyas going after action. The prana in the body is maintaining the body alive. So this is what is the role of nature, prakriti. Prana, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas. And they are interacting with the world outside. The world outside is also tamoguna. All the objects which we see is tamoguna predominant. It's an interaction between one sathvagona with the other sathvaguna or rajoguna. Let's go to the next verse. Tamas sattvam jnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehina pramadalya nirdasvihi tannibadnanti bharata. So we have seen now sattva, knowledge principle, how we get bound to happiness. Rajoguna, we get bound to action, non-stop action. See, we all have different proportions. It is not that at one time I'm only full of action. It is continuously changing. You can see the beauty of our body and mind. Continuous change is happening in this instrument, upadhi. If I learn through the Gita, I am the Sakshi of this body and mind instrument, which is provided by God to me. I am the Jiva inside. The Jiva has been blessed with this body and mind instrument. This Jiva is trying to understand its real nature. And once it understands its real nature as consciousness, it becomes one with the God. That is called as Moksha. Bhagavad Gita is a Moksha Shastra. It teaches me how to drop the bondage of the body and mind. So tamas means ignorance, completely no knowledge. Inert means jadam. I don't know myself and I don't know the rest of the world. That is called as tamas. Exactly what we experience in our sleep state. I don't know myself. I am jada surupam. I don't experience the world. I sleep like a log of wood. Wood is nothing but jadam. I also become jadam like that wood. There is no difference between that wood outside and this body which is sleeping. That is called as the tamo guna pradhanam. Whenever we have tamo guna, see, in sleep is 100% tamoguna. Suppose in waking state I have tamoguna, say 60% tamoguna I have. What happens then? I get deluded, confused. I don't know dharma, adharma. I don't know right and wrong. I don't know whether I should go and take a flight off and enjoy, go to Bali or Phuket, or I should stay back in Singapore. Should I go shopping today or not go shopping? My mind is deluded. Somebody tells me do this, I do that. Somebody tells me do something else, I do that. I am never sure of anything in life. That is called as delusion, heedlessness, indolence, sleep. These are all the conditions. And what is this primary condition? The primary condition is what? It covers the Atma 100%. Suppose it's 100%, it is sleep. Suppose it is 80%, you will make some errors of judgment. Suppose it is 50%, maybe your errors will come down to 30%. So the amount of errors and the amount of confusions in your life, if you want to reduce that, drop the tamas. Whenever the mind is in tamoguna, tell the mind, wake up. You've had your rest of 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. Don't sleep for 6 hours. Sleep for 2 hours, 1 hour is okay. Get up and start work. Rajoguna starts. Go and learn Gita. Revise the Gita lesson, what we was taught, what was studied last week. It is sathvagona. So this is how we are able to shift our own mind throughout the day when we are in control of the 3 gunas. The 3 shaktis of Maya express as sathvaguna, jnana shakti, rajoguna, vikshepa shakti, and tamoguna is avarna shakti. Avarnam here means veiling the nature of Atma, ignorance of who I am. And the indicators. How will I know that I am having this guna? Okay, you're telling me all these gunas, but how? How do I see it? How do I come to know? Pramadaha. Pramada means error. Inability to know something clearly. A rope is not seen as a rope, but is seen as a snake. It is because of tamoguna. Opposite to sattva. Should I get married or not? Should I go for this degree course or not? Should I join this company or not? If I'm utterly confused, totally confused, then that is what is called as tamoguna. Suppose I'm very clear. I want to join a bank. I want to do this job. Therefore, this job has come, I will take it. Sathvagona. You are very clear. Clarity is there. Second quality is alasya. Alasya means laziness. I want to sleep. I want to just relax. I want all the day, whether it is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the same as Saturday, Sunday for me. Work from home is no problem. I'm always ready to go to sleep. That is alasya, laziness. But if you say work from home, I wear my clothes, I work exactly like I work in the office. That is sathvagona. I'm clear. In fact, I perform better because I am in control of the mind. That is sathvaguna. Nidra. Nidra is the third indicator. Instead of working in the afternoon, I feel like sleeping. So again, it is not my condition, it is the condition of the mind. Here, Bhagavad Gita is only trying to tell us, learn to say it's my mind is in rajoguna, my mind is in sathvaguna, my mind is in tamoguna. All of us experience these three gunas every minute of the day. And learning to address these three gunas in ourselves will make my mind stronger. So the original error is what? I don't know myself. I don't know my Atma. And there are other errors which are caused by the gunas. So one is called as Mula Avidya, the original ignorance. And the second is called as Avidya, which is delusions. The delusions caused by the gunas are participative in nature of the mistakes. But the original error is, which is something which I have to correct. That correction happens only when you get the knowledge of Atma. If I want to know that, I have to go back to chapter 13. Go through the portion of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. The entire waking state itself is Kshetram. I am the observer consciousness. The whole dream world is Kshetram. I am the light in which the dream is seen. I am the Kshetrajna. So that is all correcting the original error. The next verse starts teaching us how does the bondage happen? How do the gunas bind us? Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajat karmani bharata jnanam avrutyatu tamaha pramade sanyayuttuta. How does sattva bind us? Bonding to peace. I want shanti throughout my day. I want to have knowledge, clear knowledge. I want to sit quietly all the time. If there's a phone call from the office also, no, I don't want to take the call because I want to be quiet. That means you're attached to sattva. In life, we cannot be attached to any of the three gunas. To run our life, we need to do duty. We need to be active with rajoguna. We need to have sathvaguna to a certain extent to know clearly what needs to be done. We need to have rest in life, which is tamoguna. So we need a balance of three gunas, not be overwhelmed by any guna. Rajoguna binds us to desire and action. Full of desire throughout the day. I want to do this. My list of desires is never ending. I make 30 desires on the first of the year. That grows to 60 by the middle. It becomes 90 by the end of the year. It never comes down. It just keeps on increasing. Therefore, what happens? My action plan continues endlessly. It is there. We have to be contented with our life after some time. I've had enough. Now let me understand the higher paths of life. That is the right way of living. Tamas covers jnanam. It binds you to the error. Suppose you make a mistake, it will bind you. It will bind you. You'll keep on making the same mistake again and again. Each one of us has to understand in our own life. You take a piece of paper, write down how you have been bound by the guna for your own self. You don't need to show or share it with anybody. If you want to make the best use of this chapter, take a piece of paper and write down when does your mind express sathvagona, rajoguna, tamoguna, and when do you get bound by these three gunas. This is an exercise, a personal exercise you can do in order to have a control over the mind. Many of us, we all, I would say almost all of us, we have a keen desire to control the mind. We don't know how, but this chapter dissects the problem of the mind into sattva, rajas, and tamas, and then tells us how I can control the mind. Very beautiful chapter, but you must apply this. Then you will transform your own personality. Today we are something. If I want to change that personality, even if you are able to achieve 5% change, it is a tremendous achievement in your evolution, because it is the same mind which will take another body, another body, another body. This cycle will never stop. And if I'm able to have a full concentration on my sattva guna and keep that going all the time, my own atma will get reflected in that. And I myself will know that atma. There is no other external being who has to come and tell me you are mukta purusha. Whenever the worries have started coming down, you are on the right path. Whenever you are able to face the world better after the study of the Bhagavad Gita, you are on the right path. Whenever you are able to control your emotions, even a little bit, when the situation outside is not good, you are on the right path. And a day will come when that joy will overtake you and you will say, I am very happy in life. I'm contented in life. I'm grateful to God for giving me this knowledge. The three chains, as I explained to you, sattva will bind me like a golden chain. Rajas will bind me like a silver chain. Tamas like an iron chain. These three chains are belonging to the matter. It is not that consciousness, which is my real nature. Consciousness by itself is existent. It is conscious. It is aware. There is no action. There is no mind in it. It is always there. That is the nature of God. That is the nature of man. Man, when we forget our nature, we slip into the identification to the mind and the body, and then we suffer. That is called as bondage. We need to come out of this bondage by disidentification. The way we fell down from our higher nature to the lower nature, we have to step back into our higher nature, take the path of getting away from the world to the body, to the mind, through the senses, come and reach your core of the personality, which is Atma, and become a guna atita. I am free of the three gunas. Anatmani atma adhyasa. What is the meaning of bondage? This bondage is very clearly explained by Shankaracharya in his Adhyasa Bhashyam of Brahma Sutra. For those who want to learn that, I will be taking the Brahma Sutra after the Upanishads for the Gita students. And just to say in simple terms, Adhyasa means instead of taking I am the Atma, ever pure, ever free, I take the body's dharma, that it is born, it will die. That body's attribute, I take it in me, the consciousness. And anatmani atmadhyasa. There are two types of superimposition. In the anatma, I bring in the quality of atma. That means the quality of atma is what? It's knowingness, sentiency. I take my body and say body is sentient. Body is not sentient. It is the atma's sentiency which has been borrowed by the body. That means here the body sentiency is the borrowing of atma sentiency, that is called as atmani anatma adhyasa. Then in the atma, I take anatma's attribute. Body is born is a anatma's attribute. So this superimposition is a natural thing which we have done throughout our life. What the Bhagavad Gita is now telling us is, try to understand this superimposition, this error. This error comes only because I am not having the knowledge of Atma. Now I have the knowledge of Atma. If you still have doubts about Atma, please ask me these questions. I will try to explain again and again, because this is the crux of the chapter 14. Adhyasa. I take myself as these three gunas, that is an error. The moment I understand this, then I will be free. The three gunas, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, how we are participating in the bondage through the notions. When it is sattvic guna, I say I am peaceful, instead of saying the mind is peaceful. I identify with the peaceful thoughts. There are no agitations in the sattvic mind. So I feel very calm. Especially after meditation, I feel extremely calm. But that calmness which I'm experiencing is mind's calmness. Rajas means I say I am doing this action. I am doing that action. I will do that. I will do this. I will do that. In transactions, we have to use that words, but not when you want to know who you are. We must know when to apply the Bhagavad Gita knowledge and when not to apply. In our transactionary world, don't think about applying this knowledge of Atma, Anatma, Viveka in the transactions. While transacting, do it as if you are the body and mind and act. But when you want to know who you are, when you want to take stock, take a back step and then use this knowledge. So as a doer, I am attached to the organs of action. as the as the as identified with the sathvagona, I am identified with the organs of knowledge. Tamogona, I am attached to laziness. I want to sleep. The sleep is a state of the mind. This is what is called as participatory bondage. The bondage born out of identification with the three gunas. And the direct bondage is what? The direct bondage is we start sticking to the happiness born. And whenever we are uncomfortable with, if we have not done japa, for example, we become very uncomfortable. If I have not studied the Bhagavad Gita or not chanted today, I'm used to chanting every day or every week one chapter, but this week I missed it. So that causes unhappiness in me. Or, for example, when I conduct a yoga class, I'm very happy. But if I don't conduct a yoga class, I'm very sad. This is what is called as a direct bondage, because this is something which I am experiencing because of non-action. Tamogona binds wrong thinking, error, and delusion. At one time, one guna is predominant in the mind and makes the other two subservient. This is what we will be learning in the next verse, how to identify the interaction of the three gunas. What happens when one guna becomes prominent, like in sleep? My tamoguna is prominent, rajoguna and sathvagona are subservient. In waking state, my sathvaguna is dominant, rajoguna is also dominant, my tamoguna becomes subservient. It is always a mixture. Depending on which guna overpowers, then our mind is said to be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. And this state of the mind is always in flux, changing. Half an hour ago, I was very sattvic. Suddenly I become rajasic, and because some news has come, I have to run and I start doing things. That is the rajasic. Again, something else happens, I become tamasic. Gunas totally control the nature of our mind. This is a very, very important statement. It is not I, it is the gunas born out of prakriti, born out of the five elements. That is controlling the mind. The three gunas are at loggerheads with each other all the time. And I need to understand how I can come out of the three gunas. In the next few verses, we are going to still continue to understand the overpowering of the three gunas. A little later, we'll be coming and studying how to be a free person from the guna. That is the end portion of the chapter. We will continue the study of the gunas. Then what happens to a person if he is very sattvic and he dies? What path he will take to the next body? All that we will study before understanding how to be free from the gunas. So let's continue the study next week. We'll start with the 10th verse next week and continue to understand our mind and how I am free from the mind. You see, we don't have to wait till the end of the chapter, but all of us can start looking into our own mind. And in order to understand our mind, always tell yourself, I am a Sakshi. I am a witness of my mind. Let that thought happen 10 times in a day. Then you will be able to see your mind. Suppose you don't tell this to your mind. It is a deliberate thought which you have to bring in your own mind. I am a Sakshi. I am a witness to my mind. Let that thought go deep into the unconscious mind. Then you will be able to see all the eruptions of thoughts. And you will be in control of them. And this gives you strength of the mind. Tremendous strength. You will be amazed at how strong you are. Mentally, how strong you have become. Because of this study, because of this knowledge about the mind. Okay, so we'll stop here and I'll take some questions if you have any. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I don't see any questions on the chat box. So if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask directly.
Secretary,
Baba, yes.
this can we control the three gunas through doing meditation or listening to meditation or any other way through which we cannot be controlled?
Yes, that's a very good question. See, there are different ways to control the three gunas. One of the best methods, as you have pointed out, is meditation. You can just close your eyes and be aware of your mind. That awareness of the mind itself is the controlling of the three gunas. So become more and more aware of your mind through meditation. Another very good method is to chant the Lord's name. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. You can chant any name of the God. That is the second method.
But the thing is, Secretary, let's say we go into bhajan.
Yes.
In a certain center, we go listen bhajan or hear bhajan. Yes. But it will be within that hours only. But once we step out of the ashram one, then we are into the world of Maya.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, yes, you're right. But that is where the knowledge of the Atma will come. See, in the bhajan, yes, you are right. That the moment we come out and put our slippers outside, again we are caught up in Maya. But yeah, this is at a preliminary level. You see, what happens is these are all the steps taken up at the initial phase. Later on, what you should learn is not these small steps. You know, even visit to a temple and doing some arti there is another small step for the control of the gunas. But these are not the ultimate step. The ultimate step is only the knowledge of Atma. You see, the Atma, if I know, I am the pure consciousness, and then you meditate on that aspect, then that is what will give me the final control. The other things are only small controls. I'll be able to control for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I go to a temple, I pray and come back. For, you know, that evening it is okay. But again, the next day morning, I start worrying again.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yes.
Only for that 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever.
Yes. So these are all just they are all palliatives. Like you take certain small measures to control some disease in your body, but that will not cure you. The real cure is the final medicine. That medicine is Atma Jnana. I am the pure consciousness. I am not the mind. Learn to say this 10 times a day. Every day you practice to say this. I am not the mind. I am the witness of the mind. I am not the mind. I am the witness of the mind. Let that thought come again and again. This thought will give you the ultimate freedom.
Earlier, I think last week when you were saying something about the Brahma Vidya.
Yes, this is
right?
Brahma Vidya. This is what is called as Brahma Vidya.
So we have to get the Brahma Vidya to free
Yes,
ourselves.
that's
Right?
correct. Brahma Vidya and Atma Vidya is the same thing. They both mean consciousness.
Was it the same as Lord Shiva was telling to Parvati that
Yes,
she is going to give her the Brahma Vidya?
correct. That's
Then
correct.
halfway she slept.
Yes,
Then the bird was eating.
yes. These are
Right.
all Puranic stories. But
Uh,
here in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is teaching us how to have that Brahma Vidya. We will come to that when we come and learn that in the later verse. There is a verse which we'll be attending that is called as the Gunatita portion. And that comes in the 21st verse. In the 20, right now we are in the 10th verse. So you have to wait for 11 verses, then you will know what is Guna Atita. That means knowledge of the pure Atma.
thank you.
Okay. Anybody else has a question?
Good evening, Shikaji. This is Uma here.
Yeah, Mike, tell me.
Okay, Shikaji, I was sort of contemplating on this thought, but I can't get an answer to myself. The question is, when I wake up in the morning, the I thought comes first, and the I thought is the ego. So
Correct.
so whatever is in the mind, which is an illusion. So the I is diluted by that thoughts, and then it sort of supports the wrong thoughts, like I'm jealous of that person is better than me.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That is because of your prarabdha. You
Okay.
just say this is all these thoughts will come to me throughout the day. It is not my real nature.
Okay. So my wondering now is it the ego that is controlling the mind, or is it the mind that is controlling? So which is it? The ego should let go of the mind. What is holding on to what? That was my confusion.
Okay. You see, ego and mind is the same thing. It is only the same thought. Ego is the I thought which rises, the first I thought which rises when you wake up in the morning. That I thought is common throughout the day. I am working. Uh, uh, I am. That I thought is with the body and mind throughout the day. Now, your question is the same thing. The same thing is called as the mind when it thinks about a problem. It has got emotions. So the I thought is the substratum, and then the Baubai, can you off your somebody has got the mic on. Please check. Yeah, now it's okay. So what I was saying is, so your I thought is common throughout the day, and it is holding on to all other thoughts. It is holding on to your thoughts of emotions, and it's holding on to your external world. It is holding on to your relationships. So whenever the other thoughts are coming, they are all in reference to something else outside you. That means either some relationships have come in front, it gets interaction with that. So suppose you go to the office, you're working in a situation, when the objects outside are all people outside are all office people, then you're interacting with that. So it's all in relation to something. The I thought is common. That I thought is a reflection of the consciousness. It is that I thought which is interacting with the world outside. That means you are interacting with, if you are not interacting and you are only with yourself, and then thoughts come in your mind, that is called as memory. So the thoughts of the memory, uh, you should be able to control, and that is possible.
Okay.
Is there any other? Is there anything else you wanted to get clarity?
No, Shikiji, this was helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, thank
I thought
Yeah.
which comes and disturbs, which interacts with the world. But suppose there's nothing of the world outside. Suppose you are sitting in your room and you are just with yourself, and there's no family member also in front of you. You are, suppose you are doing yoga alone. So at that time, what is disturbing you is the memory in the mind. The thoughts are the memory in the mind, and it is again the substratum. That ego is the substratum. The I thought is the substratum. That is always there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, Shikiji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Secondly, earlier you were saying it's the three gunas that control the mind, right?
Yes.
So how to get rid of this? You know, you have to get rid of the gunas before you can control the mind, right?
Gunas and mind is the same thing. See, there is the same guna is what? It is the content of the mind only. You see, when you say, I want to control my mind, it means you want to control the gunas. Guna and mind they are completely interlinked. The power of the mind in a certain situation is called as rajoguna. The power of the mind in a certain condition of the mind, when there is no activity around you, you're a sathvagona. So the gunas and the minds are all completely intertwined. It is the three strings of your mind. Satwa, rajas, and tamas is the three strings, three threads of your mind. And three threads of your mind together is what is called as maya. Okay? Anybody else has a question? Yeah, can awareness of Uma be combined with inhalation, retention, and exhalation of breath? Is it equivalent to chanting Om? No, no, no. You see, when you chant Om is completely different than when you are aware of the Lakshmi, are you there? Hello? Yeah, Lakshmi?
Babuji, if you can just mute yourself, I think it's your mic. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is the mic. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't need to go off. He can keep the video on. He just needs to put off the audio.
Lakshmi, are you able to ask the question?
She sent a message.
Yeah, but
saying there's a mic problem.
I need her to. Okay.
It is. I mean, I think it is not Uma. I think it is. She mentioned Om only, and after M, it is. I think by mistake she typed A.
Can awareness of like Om be combined with inhalation, retention, and exhalation of breath? Oh, okay, okay. The awareness of Om. Okay, that's the what she's asking is, can the awareness of Om? Yes, but it's very difficult to do it along with inhalation, retention, and exhalation of breath. AUM. It is, if you can do it, it's excellent. But I'm not clear of what she's asking with reference to chanting Om and retention. So I would like her to ask me this question if she is available now. And if she can unmute herself and ask, it's fine. Anybody else so she says there is a mic problem for her, so it's okay. Lakshmi, I will answer to you directly when you call me on the phone on WhatsApp. Anybody else has any other question? Hello? Hello? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Shekaji, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, then.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, that means you are able to hear me.
Yes.
So if there is any question from anybody else, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will close today's session and then we will start next week. Are you all enjoying this chapter on mind and the gunas?
Very much, Shekaji. It's really helping us, definitely.
Yeah,
and if I may share, I do feel that I'm a much happier person now.
Oh, very good.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, the old habits, the frustration all does come up, but it lasts very short. And the best thing is after like 4 minutes, 5 minutes later, I'm actually aware that I went through that experience of frustration or anger and all that. Or in the past, I will sort of drag on and on and on. But now I really realize that, okay, it's starting and I'll stop.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so it's so helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Uma. Thank you for your feedback. It was very good feedback because this is something which is what is expected from this chapter. And the moment you are able to appreciate this chapter, exactly what Uma is saying, you will be able to feel. All of us can feel this. Anybody else has any other question? In chapter 12, Lord Krishna said devotion to form is more easy as compared to meditation to formless. It is more difficult, yes, you're right. But with proper understanding of the Atma, I will tell you that it is far more easier to say I am the pure consciousness, awareness principle. Everything else is anatma. So the teaching really helps a lot. For a common man who is ignorant, he will find that meditation on the formless, any type of meditation is difficult without jnanam. But with jnanam, you'll find the meditation is the easiest thing to do. Because you have the knowledge, you see, and then you should also know how to apply that knowledge. You must tell yourself, I am the Sakshi. I keep telling this again and again because we always try to look in front of us the Atma, make Atma objective. Then you will never be happy in meditation. The moment you say, I am the Sakshi, your control on your body, mind, pranas, everything is possible. But suppose you say, today I'm going to meditate on Atma and I'm going to see Atma like an object. I can see a flower outside. I want to come and realize Atma. Then it is not possible. You will be straining your mind. Where is that Atma? Where is that Atma? Forgetting that the seer, the one who is the seeker, that seeker is the Atma. So Akshay, your question is good, but like I said, with jnanam, it is easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how to practice Om properly?
Sorry?
How to practice Om?
Are you attending the,
Yeah.
you're attending the Wednesday classes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. See, when in Wednesday class, last week, I said that uh, okay, I will explain the details in the Wednesday class, but here I'll just explain to you. Your question, I'm not very clear. Can you tell me what you want? You are combining the breath with Om, is it?
Yeah, that gives some awareness of, that particular sound.
Okay.
Om sound. That's what I was thinking. Otherwise, the awareness goes off if you can't combine with pranam.
You see,
The
there are
pranam.
no. You see, this I think there is somewhere you are confusing a sound with prana. Prana is when your mind is observing the inhalation at the tip of your nostril. You are observing, you are the awareness, your focus is at the tip of the nostrils, inhalation is going on, and then your exhalation is going on. Inhalation, exhalation. Sometimes you can also be aware of the holding. So, in retention, exhalation. Again, retention, inhalation. So, that process, if you are doing this, do not chant Om. Just observe the breath only.
Okay.
Okay, so don't try to do two things at the same time. Just observe the breath. This is one method. Second is chant Om. That time you don't think about inhalation, exhalation, and all that. You try to only chant Om. Forget about the focus, because your awareness can only be focused on only one thing, either your breath or on your sound. When you are listening to the sound Om in your meditation and your mind is chanting, then what happens is there is a gap. You chant Om in your mind, stop. Again, become aware, chant Om, stop. Again, chant Om, become aware, stop. So, this way, what will happen is in between the two chants, you are experiencing the silence of the sound Om. When you are experiencing the silence, what happens is the knower, known, and the knowing process stops. And you are one with Sakshi. That's all. There is no more object of awareness. When the sound is there, object comes. When there is no sound, your objectless awareness.
Oh, fine. Thanks.
Okay, now you're clear?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else has a question?
Mr. Shekhar,
Yeah.
Jacqueline here. Oh, I just want to reconfirm. You just said the Om, right? I was like practicing when I inhale, I say Om, and when I exhale, I say Om. So you are saying that it is not correct.
In the initial stage, it's good. But when you want to do advanced meditation, you forget about the inhalation and exhalation. You only focus on the sound.
So you're saying, so that means if I'm breathing, inhale and exhale, I just observe.
Yes.
If I want to do Om, then my mind will just do it. I don't want, and it's not encouraging for two at one time.
Yeah, that's correct. Don't encourage both at the same time.
Okay, appreciate because I did I did that portion in, out, so okay.
But now you need to grow. You need to grow, and you need to understand and start meditating in an advanced fashion, which is called as meditate on the sound Om.
Okay. Another question. Okay, I got the Om part. Aham Brahma asked me, my inhalation Aham Brahma asked me, exhalation Aham Brahma asked me, is it encouraged or no?
See, again, I'm telling you that you can't try to bring a thought and then also focus on the breath.
Okay, got it. I know your answer already. Okay, I do one thing at a time.
Yes,
I
do
will.
one thing at a time. You see, your awareness can function either to look at your breath or to hear what you are saying.
Okay, because I also did the other one in that manner. So from now on, I will not be doing it. And just concentrate on one at a time. Yeah.
Yes, you try to change your meditation style,
Okay.
and you'll find a big difference. You'll be able to focus better.
In fact, what I did was I'm awake, like I am standing to look at something, and I will just do it myself. So now I will not do two at one time, and I just do one at a time.
Yes.
Okay, appreciate. Yeah, good that somebody asked, and then I get to know the exact way of doing it.
Yes. You see, like I'm saying again and again, either you focus on the tip of your nostril while inhaling, exhaling. At that time, don't say I am Aham Brahmasmi or look at Om or something, because you'll be creating duality.
All right. Yeah, that's the key word. I'm creating duality.
Yes.
Okay.
You are focusing on duality.
Yeah.
Whereas when you say Aham Brahmasmi, that means I am Brahman. There is no more duality. I am consciousness. There is no more duality.
Right.
Whereas when you're observing the breath, I am consciousness. I am observing at the tip of my nostril. This is duality.
Okay.
So drop the duality and come to Advaitam, non-dual nature, which is my real nature.
Right.
So initially, yes, you can do the observation of breath, but finally you have to say, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that consciousness. Let that feeling be right in the center of your heart, and let that feeling come again and again. I am the center of the whole universe. This consciousness is not only in this body, it is from where the whole universe is coming, including my body. So in this consciousness, breath is not there. There is no thought. Nothing is there except me. I have emptied myself of everything. I'm absolutely standing with nothing except I am. And it is possible. It is possible, and you will enjoy this once you have learned it. This is called as the ultimate peace of what I can ever think about. Ultimate peace, ultimate happiness. And this is the oneness between me and the entire creation.
Appreciate Mr. Shekhar. Yeah, really blessed to attend. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, there are no questions. We'll continue the study of the three gunas and the study of our own mind. In the meantime, watch your mind, be aware of your mind, aware of the conditions of the mind, and keep learning about your mind. The more we learn about the mind, the more peaceful we'll become. Thank you and good night.